Hello, everyone, and welcome to International Coaches Club, the podcast where international coaches share their stories and how they've made an impact on their sport in the US, from college programs to professional and national teams. I'm your host, Liran Zamir. His professional career has taken him across the world. Over the course of a 15-year career, he competed in some of Europe's respected leagues after starting in his home country, Ukraine. He spent nearly a decade representing the Ukrainian volleyball national team, competing in major international qualification tournaments and European championships, while experiencing different styles of play and coaching philosophies. Those experiences inspired him to be a coach. Now, based in Austin, Texas, he leads the boys program at Austin Juniors Volleyball, where he focuses on developing the next generation of players, and one of the pillar coaches in the national team development program, helping grow the sport in the United States. An entrepreneur with hundreds of thousands of followers online, he continues to share the lessons of his career with young athletes and aspiring competitors. Andrii Diachkov is my guest today. Hello, Andrii, and welcome to my podcast.
Hello.
I wanted to ask you what stood out most from the introduction right now.
I don't know. It's kind of stood out. Probably the point that I kind of trying to make my dream come true, being professional athlete, and then try to, keep the same standard as a coach right now, participating in different events. So I think that's the most important part of being in the sport. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And we met in the NTDP, and I saw you coaching at a high level of youth of the United States, and was very impressed. And I wanted to bring you on so you can share some of your stories. But I wanted to start really early in the beginning. You grew up in Kiev, Ukraine, and what drew you first to volleyball?
Well, that's an interesting story. I try to kind of inspire my athletes with this story because Ukraine and all Europe is soccer number one sport, right? So we all dream to be professional soccer players. Me the same way. So I was trying to play, and I actually was in a club playing. Kind of, I was 10 years old playing soccer. My dad came to me one time, and my dad is fanatic. He loves volleyball. He's 70, he still plays, just to give you an idea. So yeah. Um, so he told me that, hey, what if you're gonna try to play volleyball? And I'm like, volleyball? Like, no, I'm good with the sport that I love. And he's like, well, you're gonna be tall. You're probably gonna be more than 2 meters, what is 6'7", 6'8". I'm like, I don't look at 10 years old, you don't think about those stuff, right? You don't even, you just live the life and enjoy it. But he made me start playing volleyball while I was trying to training volleyball. I hated it because nothing was, I couldn't set, I couldn't pass, I couldn't do anything. And obviously you're not enjoy what you don't good at something. So, but slowly, somehow I quit soccer. So I left the club and I started doing volleyball more serious. But to be completely honest, the environment that I've been in, it's been more pro volleyball than pro soccer because even in there was a school, and I remember my dad. It's not a board school, or it's not a like charting school. It's nothing special. It's a public school, but there was like a sport class. What does that mean? Sport class. It's the class when all the guys or the girls there, they're playing sports. some kind of sport, and it was just only one class in every age. So all the boys in my class were the part of the volleyball team for this school. It's not like in the United States, varsity, JV, freshman. No, it's just one class. And it was, I remember, it was fifth grade when I started practicing. So what it basically does, we study, and then after school, we have a gym. We go directly to the gym. We practice volleyball with the coach. And that was everyday practice, Monday, Friday, with the coach and with the team. Plus, additional, we were going to different tournaments. We played local tournaments. We didn't travel. So that's how I started. Take it more serious. And then by the age 14, that was already different type of school, also in Kiev, when they actually selecting players from all over the Ukraine and put them in one class. And then this is already look like border school, I guess, in the United States. When you practice in the morning, then you go study, and then you go after afternoon practice, and then you leave at the same place, and you study, and you basically Monday, Friday there, and then as a local guy, I could go on the weekend home. But since 14 years old, I've been practicing twice a day, basically, plus tournaments and all this stuff. Yeah.
That's very, very cool. And I love that the fact that your dad pushed you.
Yeah.
Usually
So
dads push
basically, yeah.
towards soccer. That's where the money is.
Well, money, yes, but then also a high level competition, right?
Yeah.
The percentage of the boys wanting to be the high level athletes in any sport, and actually the amount of players actually made it there, it's very low. It's a lot of work, a lot of dedication, out of different family reunions and holidays and sacrifices and all this stuff. Like it's a lot of job.
Very good. Okay, man. So, you started, you said you've been practicing twice a day for so many years, and then you earned a scholarship to go to school in Ukraine playing volleyball. The US is very special in that sense that there is a collegiate league, and college sports is huge here. But I was wondering, how did you get into the college school league in Ukraine, and what academics actually, how did that shape you to be a better athlete?
Well, you know probably better than me that if you are disciplined in something, that's always brings results, right? So if you are trying to be high level athlete, you have to be very disciplined, very, very organized. And that's reflecting on every part of your life, including education. So when I got a scholarship in university, that's a second university in Ukraine. So that's very high level universities, National Academy of Internal Affairs. I My study, I graduated law. I graduated criminal law. Um, I never work as a lawyer in my life because after 2 years studying, I received my first offer, professional offer, and then I made a decision that I want to try to be a professional athlete, basically, right? So I switched my education to the distance learning, and from there, I still graduated. I still finished my bachelor degree. Actually, it's a master. Yeah, I think if it's translated to America, I think it's a master
Master's
degree.
degree.
Yeah. So I switched that, and I still finished in my study, but then I was already playing professionally, meaning that the team that I played for paid me money and official contract and everything. Yes.
Very good. And that leads me to the next question. Is that something that you aspired from the beginning from the beginning, being a professional athlete, starting in like the age of 10? You said you start and you just want to have
Yeah.
fun. When did you realize that you want to take it to the next level?
When you are surrounded by the people that or one better than you or as good as you are, have same goals in their lives. I feel like starting 14, 15, I was trying to follow different stars, the celebrities in volleyball. And by that time, when I was growing up, It was a Brazilian national team, was really strong in the world, and they were winning everything. And so what I've done, it actually my dad suggested me is like, hey, you need to pick one guy who you're gonna follow and gonna be your a role model, basically. And I did. And this guy was the Dante. Dante is an outside hitter from Brazilian national team. And I was watching him playing. I don't know how many matches I watched. Probably all of them. Um, and by the time he played in Panathinaikos in Greece and national team, and and his family situation, like I knew everything about him, the way he plays. I tried to copy. So then I was like, that's very cool to be a role model, to be someone that you can inspire many young athletes. And yeah, I decided to that I will try. So I try to do everything what I can to be a professional athlete.
Very good. And you mentioned that when you're around people who are the same level, you aspire to push further. And at 23, age of 23, you named it best outside hitter in Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
So what clicked and what worked out this season and this year specifically, and how did you kind of pushed ahead from your competition?
It's I cannot say that something clicked. I think this is a result of the hard working and dedication that happened way before 23. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because nothing, it's not a coincidence. I feel like it's just happened because I've been working hard and not looking left or right, parties, holidays, and stuff like that. I was just, am I like expecting that? I don't know. I don't think so. It was just the end of competition. We won the gold medal, and they were naming MVP of the season, the best outside, the best middle, and etc. So yeah, and they give me the best outside hitter, and it was kind of surprise to me, but I knew I did a pretty good season that year as an outside, and I was young, and uh, I was very healthy because at 25, I guess I tore my shoulder, but that time I was very healthy, very strong, and and try to do my best. But I feel like if you don't look, let's say this, if you have a certain goal, right, it's good to have a big goals, but if you are like, hey, I want to be a best outside hitter in the country, then you might burn yourself out. But if you consistently working toward the bigger goal, then without thinking about outcome, then the goal will come to you.
Very good. I love that, the system of hard work, dedication, and just being consistent actually bring results. And I love that approach. And you finished in Europe, you in Ukraine, and your career took you to several countries around Europe.
Yeah.
But what was the biggest adjustment playing outside of Ukraine for the first time, seeing other volleyball?
Language.
Anything physical?
Language. Yeah, well, I tell you this, like I travel many countries, and you feel comfortable in every country if you speak the language.
Agreed.
I don't know, that works somehow, but this was for me. I came in Italy. Italy was my first country that I played outside of my country. I came in Italy, and in the very first day of the practice, I learned that I better speak Italian because nor they don't speak English or they don't want to speak English. That's not all of them. There's some very good, you know, educated guys that are know English and have comfortable speaking with the foreigners, but most of them are not, and they prefer not to because they're in their environment, they live in their country, everything is Italian. So I asked the team manager to do something, so they hire a teacher basically, and I start to learn Italian. And after a year, because the other part is that we have assistant coach was a translator, and head coach that does speak zero English, like zero. Italian guy speaks zero. So every video sessions before the matches, you're like, what? And the guy is like, oh, Federico, translate, and poor guy, he was trying to get he never been a translator before. He's an assistant coach, and he tried to manage those jobs because we have me, Kai van Dijk as he's Dutch, Brazilian guy, but Brazilian guy was a different story. He came with only Portuguese. He speaks zero English, zero Italian. It's a different story. So Brazilian guy, and another one is from Finland, Kosti Shumo. So, but Kosti was played already in Italy before he spoke Italian, so he was not, it's not a problem for him. So Federico was trying to translate, and that guy was going fast, fast, fast through the videos because no one wants to sit for 5 hours, right? So it was kind of a struggle. But after 6 months of studying Italian, I started to understand what he's saying. But speaking was kind of there. At least I could go in the grocery store and buy some stuff and explain. But yeah, and after a year, I started speaking Italian, and what it did to us, because it was me and my wife, we were studying, it did to us that after a year and a half, probably we were fluent in Italian, speaking, writing, and reading.
And
So,
now,
well, now what happened now is there's no a lot of experience, like, not experience, practice. So, let's say this: Ukrainian, Russian, uh, Italian until 2019, then English. So now English and then Italian.
got it. Very, very cool. I love it. Okay, so yeah, so you played in Italy in the highest levels in Europe. There's also a documentary by the McKibben brothers that I was
Oh yeah,
watching and
Riley.
enjoying. Yeah, that you played Modena. Um, and then you played many years in the national team, the Ukrainian national team. So I was wondering, first of all, what it meant to you to represent Ukraine internationally, and second of all, what was the competition level like, and how was it different from different clubs or the university level?
Well, national team is always something special. I believe to anybody represent their country, their flag, culture, and mentality. For me, it was the same. I've been always proud to stand before the matches and looking at my flag and listening the anthem of Ukraine. Um, Ukrainian national team has been always a strong national team at a certain degree, right? Because we were competing on the European pools, which is the best teams in the world, like Italy, like Poland, uh, Russia. Like we were surrounded by very good national teams. France, um, Spain was there before. Now it's not much. Slovakia, Czechia, like all those teams were very strong. But what was happening before that probably nobody knows, that Ukraine and Russia were neighbors, right? Beside that, right now, one is trying to take the territory of another. Before, we were good partners. We were consider ourselves as the brothers, and it was very easy for Ukrainian athletes to move to Russia and change the citizenship and sports citizenship. It was very easy, like this. All the talented guys were moving from Ukraine to Russia because Russia pays more. We lost so many very high level athletes because of that. And to be honest with you, I was one of them, but I didn't fall into this trap. I was like, I did not want to play in Russia and be a Russian. Like they came to me, they offered me, I said, I'll think about it, but never happened. But the world stars like Musersky, for example, he got recruited from Ukraine. He's a Ukrainian guy. So he was a young guy, 16 years old. He was practicing and playing in school and this and that, live in Kharkiv. And then they basically bought him out. And then he became an Olympic medalist, gold Olympic medalist. So, but national team was, we have very good school in Ukraine. Now it's a little bit more difficult because of the war, but before we had a lot of talents, a lot of talents. I can name you at least 5 others, but I don't want to spend time with it.
Yeah, that's fine. And I hope things will calm down and you can start focusing on sports again. Hopefully. You mentioned in a previous earlier interview that you began analyzing your own game and
Yeah.
essentially start your coaching yourself.
Yeah.
So, it takes a high level of intelligence to kind of start breaking down your own results and game style. So, first of all, how did that start? And at what point after doing that, you were like, okay, maybe coaching is the track that I need to go to?
I don't know if you think about it very serious when you're playing professionally and everything around you very comfortable. Um, but yes, so I don't know, probably is it's a God's gift, but I have this analytic mind where and number one, and number two, probably some of my athletes that working with me will understand, and your followers and my followers understand that when you are never happy with your performance. So what does that mean? It's not always a bad thing, but it's just it's incredible driver. It's an incredible engine to get better consistently. Because like that was me. That was me starting 19 years old, maybe. I don't remember, maybe even earlier, but that was me that I was never happy with my current performance, even though my performance was better than the others in the team. How I measure that, I don't know, but that was just okay. Now I start feeling comfortable. Let's start something new or something that not going to make me feel comfortable. So, and I feel like that was the moment when I played overseas, uh, and I seek help from the coach. I don't want to call the names or anything. Like I was seek help from the coach because my passing was not there, my hitting was off, or something like this. I don't remember exactly. And then all I got in response, and like, yeah, something, maybe you can figure out. You're a big boy, something like that. And I came back home and I would start like discussing with myself, and my wife was a big part of it. And I'm like, how am I supposed to get better if there's no coaching, if there's no supervisor that can look at me and actually teach me how to do it, or maybe just give me an advice and say, hey, instead of this, maybe you can do this. So in that moment, I started coaching myself in the way that I was watching my videos. I was watching the videos of the others. I was watching the videos how the others are playing against me and against my team. What I do is do those. So not the good moments. Like everybody likes highlights, right? Everybody likes to watch. Hey, I'm the best. No, I was cutting. So the data volley is the app, same as basically Huddle right now, but more advanced. All the mistakes, all the errors on passing, on hitting, on serving, all the bad stuff that hurts you. Well, it hurt me, right? So I was doing it and I was watching. Not the pleasant experience to watch yourself failing every single time, but very, very good motivator and like very good tool to analyze and see like, hey, the ball was going this way. I need to drop my shoulder a little bit more and hold my platform, like this kind of stuff. So, and then having so many practices a day, sorry, no, not a day, in a week, implement it, try it, fail, stand up and go again. Like it's just a part of the success, I guess. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting better in the moment when I realize I'm getting better because I analyze myself and I coach myself. That's even more rewarding, I guess.
Yeah, that's very
So,
cool.
yeah.
And at that point, you decided to start affecting and coaching other people, or it took you
No,
much longer?
no, Liran, it was not that. It was not like I was not never thought about like being a coach, right? Because when you play professionally, you think almost about nothing. You don't think about the future. Your life is just okay. What does the next season look like? Where I'm gonna go and play? What's the contract gonna look like? Conditions and all of it. I start thinking about coaching in my 31st year of life and played in France. In my low back, start kind of acting funny. I already went through the shoulder surgery, my knee surgery. Like it's been already experience of, that professional sport does not give you health. And I was like, okay, what's next? And to be honest and to be fair, I tried many stuff. Like I tried to educate myself as an IT. Didn't go well. I'm not an IT guy. I don't think I have enough patience to sitting in front of a computer and just extra typing and creating codes and this and that. Um, I'm more extrovert. I'm like to talk to people. I'm like to make connections and explain and listen and just give to community. Um, and I tried a couple things, didn't work. And then my last year in France, I played in Montpellier. So there was a sign for me to stop playing. I was playing Bagherone. It's cold tennis in the United States when you play one touch back
Yeah.
and forth, only with platform. But in professional, we can hit standing. So the ball was behind me. It was going far. Instead of rotating once 180 and bring it back, I would start pedaling back and try to hit it back on the other side. And I tore my hamstring just pedaling back. And 2 months recovery, it was pretty bad. 2 months recovery, came back, tore my abs right after. And by that time, I was one of the best outside in that team. And obviously, team hurting, don't having me and losing points when we can win and get points in a classification, right? And everybody's kind of mad, frustrated, upset, including me, right? I can't perform. And I think that year I was like, I still had some offers to continue playing in France, but I decided to quit and pursue coaching career because while I was in the injury, I was still questioning myself, what would I do if I would stop playing? And then I found that in United States, basically volleyball is number one sport in the girls' side, and having my analytic mind, I feel like I can contribute this to the young athletes as a coach. So I decided to try. I talked to my wife. By that time, I already had a kid. So Patrick was 4 years old, 4.5. So we moved to United States.
That's very cool. Before we get there, so you decided to be a coach,
Yeah.
and then you played and saw coaches and coached yourself all around Europe. So was there any specific country or any league that kind of influenced you as a coach, and any philosophies that you picked up from other
Yeah.
coaches or different players that kind of forms who you are today as a coach?
Well, my first year in Italy, Italy is absolutely the best league, right? So it's very strong, very organized, very professional, the high level coaching, high level athletes. All the best are in Italy. It was in Italy, and I think the same right now. Um, so my first year in Italy, my coach was crazy about block and defense system, and we did on the practices, not all, but majority of the practices we did block and defense, and we tried to communicate and organize. That was my actually speaking theme on the ABC convention last in December.
Okay.
Block and defense system, because I learned a lot from that year. We were the best blocking team in the league. We were the best defending team in the league. Saying that, we were not as great as the out of system, which is probably one of the most important. Serving was kind of like this kind of stuff. Yeah, but we were the best in those things. So I learned a lot: how to block, how to be patient, what is the defense, how those things can work together and can be very effective if you do things right, and every single player on the court does stuff prop correctly. So I learned this a lot. Then uh, further on, I was obviously having pretty much different coaches in coaching styles. So I learned a lot how to adapt to different styles and basically mentality, if you will, because all the coaches have different stuff to put on the table. And as a professional and as a good athlete, you have to be very adjustable. Like you never point the finger on the previous year. Like this is right now, this is what you are up to, and you follow this philosophy. And if it works, it works. If no, then you need to work it out and talk to coach and stuff like that. But that's has been a big boost for me, surrounded by the players. And again, like I said, analytic minds, look around, see how the people do stuff, and try to be as good as them.
Very good. So yeah, being analytic, you said the biggest sports for girls in the United States is volleyball. I want to go and try my luck over there. So you came here,
Yeah.
and what surprised you? You know, after thinking you know what you know about US, what surprised you most about US volleyball?
My first impression, my first actually surprise was how big this sport is in the United States. I don't think something like that you can find in any country in the world, because having at least five teams in public school is just crazy to me, right? And I started to learn that those weird names like varsity, JV, freshman, like sophomore in the school. Hey, he's a junior. I'm like, it means he's in what grade? Like it was too different, very different. So in volleyball, then I was start working for the club, and I went my one of my first qualifier when my eyes even got bigger even more. When I walk into the convention center, it's like 100 plus courts and so many people around, and I'm like, holy moly! Basically, it was yeah. That's probably one of the biggest surprise for me and shock, um, to realize how big this sport can be.
Oh yes, I was in. We were playing Capitol Hill. I work with Metro. They have like 220 courts. That's
Yeah,
ridiculous. And they have the AM wave and the PM wave. It's 8 teams per court through the whole
yeah,
day. And do the math. It's pretty crazy. And just a
crazy.
small. It's just like it's not even a qualifier. So anyway, yes, I agree. It is surprising. So you're coaching here for a while, um, and you came here with your own philosophies and beliefs. But did the U.S. change you as a coach? Things that you picked up here and learned?
Yes, absolutely. First, I learned a lot from the athletes, how to deal with different soul, if you will. It's like just different player has different backgrounds, thoughts, way to do stuff. And as a coach, you need to be very flexible to coach them all, right?
Hmm.
So I was learning a lot, and I'm still learning how to deal with those young guys and girls. Uh, it's just crazy how different we all can be, and we have to respect each other. Because I tell you this, in Ukraine, coaches are not that flexible. So we are kind of growing up in the environment when if the things are not the way coach wants, the things around you getting very stressed. I don't want to say more, but very stressed. So you come from that mentality and environment to this mentality environment, and you see like, oh, you actually sometimes can be happy on the course. So yeah, that's kind of difference that I noticed too.
That's very funny. And I had myself a Eastern European coach
Mhm.
for years, so I know exactly how strict that can be and how
Yep,
not as flexible, you know, not a lot of
flexibility.
flexibility over there. But they do a good job. At the end of the day, they're. I agree with you that you need to be flexible, and that athletes teach you the most. You can't coach everybody the same. We learned
Yep.
that here. But it seems like in other places they do it and they find success. So that's very interesting to see. But how would you describe your coaching philosophy today?
That's an interesting question. Um, my philosophy is if you want to achieve something in like I'm trying to give out the message that I'm carrying with myself my entire life, that you have to take things seriously if you want to achieve something. And for every single one of us, serious is different, right? But I can tell you almost with 100% certainty what needs to be done if you want to achieve the high level goals. And then everything else is up to you. If this is your life, your choice as an athlete, you want to do it or not, because it's a lot of sacrifice. And we all need to understand that. Not everybody is the same. Not everybody's learning the same. And my philosophy is to try to be accommodating and adjusting based on the personality we have. Obviously, with the certain rules and certain restrictions, without burning the willingness to play volleyball. So fun, it should be fun combined with the hard work, and I think it's possible.
That's good. And I want to before the philosophy, you're growing the next generation of players here in the US. We're going to touch on that. Now you're the director of Austin Juniors Volleyball, the boys director. What excites you about building this program and coming to work every day?
uh Everything comes in their in the timely manner, timely for my life. Because if you would ask me, can I do this job 2 years ago, I probably would say no. But then having 2 years of experience running my own stuff, I think I came here and I feel like I can build something here. We having ideas and desire to give this to the community. It's exciting. It's very exciting. I'm leading a program that has 100 plus kids. Um, and we have a lot of kids that wants to play college, and I wants to create something here that this thing is possible as much as possible. Um, Obviously bouncing between gym availabilities, schedule, budget, and all this stuff. It's something that's very exciting for me to see what happened in the future if I'm gonna do things the way I imagine.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm very grateful for this opportunity, and let's see. Only the time can show, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's very cool that you have this opportunity, especially in Texas. For the people who listen who are not in the volleyball world, boys volleyball in Texas and the South is not as developed as the
Yeah.
West Coast and the East Coast. So good luck with that. That could be cool
Thank
to
you.
have like a strong boys. And Austin is a cool city. So yeah, I want to see more boys in the volleyball circuit. So that's very good. Um,
Working on it.
and I want to ask you about the day to day. First of all, are you coaching a team right now with the club?
Yes, 15s,
Very good.
15. Yeah.
So when you look at a young athlete in the sport of volleyball, what are the first things that you look for in order to determine what they need to work on and if they have a successful future ahead of them?
That's a tricky question. Um, what I'm looking first of the ability to handle the practices and how coachable they are, right? So receiving information and make this happen, basically. Obviously, we're all different, like I said. So the way that you give out information, it's a different too. But um, for the athletes, I'm looking at athleticism, desire, motivation, and it's not one time thing. Like it's not one practice you show it to me and then you're good for the rest of the season. Every practice, like this is should be consistent. And then as a coach, I have a trust on you as a player. Um, and that's very important to be consistent and stay in this level, never go below that.
Okay,
So that's
very good.
probably
Awesome. And now for the question I was waiting most. You're a permanent member of the NTDP National Team Development Program of USA Volleyball. I want you to tell us about the experience, how you went about it, how did you start, what it means to you, what are your future goals and aspirations for continuing with USA Volleyball.
what can I say? I think I've been blessed to visiting and coming every year to NTDP, because for me, NTDP is the great example of um, professionalism being in junior sport, if that makes sense. Standards, practices, organization, communication, like you name it. Everything is very high level. And that's what I used to when I play volleyball. That's why it's very close to me. Also, it gives so much to those kids, the opportunity to be there, that I don't know if I had something like that when I was a young volleyball player. So, and we have those kids out there, and I think all of them understand how important and how grateful they have to be for that, and how important is that for them. And they also practicing 3 days, twice a day, and it's exhausting. But all of them were very energetic, and it's just amazing for me. It's been just nothing but great experience.
Very cool. Tell us a little more about like the day to day in the NTDP. I know, but I want other people to know.
That's how we met each other, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you start with the morning routine, right? You wake up, you go to breakfast, and then because of so many kids, we have different waves, by divide by the ages. So yeah, basically you go practice. Then after practice, you have lunch. After lunch, you have free time, but not really free time, because there's a bunch of different events. Like last time we talked about the doping. There was a lady explain what's the substances you can take, or be very careful about what you're taking. It's very important. Um, different events with the psychologists, maybe, and then you have a little rest, and then you have another session afternoon. After that, you have another meetings, dinner, and then kind of free time, and then you call for the day. Um, so basically, that's 2 days in a row. You have almost no time to, to like free time. Basically, you're all busy with. So it's like a physical knowledge, volleyball, right? And then also mental aspect. What needs to be done to get to the next level? What you have to have as an athlete, or learn, or already have it, to be in the national team, because that's what it's for. We are selecting players for the youth national teams from that group.
Yeah, very good. So it is fun, and indeed, like one of the best things in my experience to work with the best athletes in the different age groups, and that's a really cool experience. And I want to go to the next thing. I want you to tell us, the listeners, about volleyball advice. How did it start, and what do you do? Where is it going?
I've been very blessed, surrounding by the people that push me to do stuff and be successful in it. And being blessed is not always the great experience. And you have to understand that too, that sometimes people is not like sometimes the people that don't like what you're doing push you and motivate you even more than the ones that are standing close to you and help you out. I'm not, like I said, I don't want to go into the details, but my first day in the United States when I moved, I was like, what I'm going to do, what it's going to look like. At least I need to create my Instagram accounts, and that's separate from my own personal one. So, and then as a coach, I need to share my knowledge, right? So I start to sharing some videos and showing exercises and analyzing the markets and all of the stuff. Like I've been doing all this stuff, and I was working in the volleyball club. I didn't know, first of all, I didn't know what's volleyball, what's private lesson is. I came in, I said, I had no idea because there's nothing like that in Europe. And then when I start working at the club in Houston, I started learning about this a lot, and I start getting a lot of questions and actually high demands because they recognize that I play professionally and they want their kids trained with professional. Unfortunately, within that club, I faced the competition because some people in the club don't like that getting more clients than the other coaches, right? And with this being said, I separated my lessons from the club as a coach, Andrei, to volleyball advice. The other reason is probably is very common. I don't know if you had this in your life or not. When the parents are coming to the coach Andrei of, let's say, 17 top team in the club, do lessons because they think that can give their kid a ticket to play. Versus they're coming to the coach Andrei as the owner of volleyball advice, thus give the ticket to the kids to play because the kid's getting better, not because he's a head coach. That was always crazy to me how political part is involved in the youth sport. And unfortunately, it's still going on. But I separated myself from club coach to the volleyball advice coach. And if you come to me doing lessons, you sign up, you sign the waiver, you sign up for the class, you show up, and I have nothing to do with the club volleyball, and I'm a separate entity, and it's been working really, really well.
Very good. What are type of things that you do? You just do one-on-ones with the club kids?
So right now is a little changed because I got a new full-time job. I don't have enough time to do stuff, but let me tell you what was happening before July 2025. I've been working in the club. I was coaching one team, and I have amazing relationship with the owners of Texas Legacy. It's out in Tumble. Katie Davis and Jen Kopp, they are really great to me, and I want to say hi and thank you. They
Uh,
allowed me to run volleyball advice stuff under their roof, basically. So I was doing private lessons, I was running camps, I was running clinics, and I had academy with around 20 kids, a certain age, because we had a agreement with them that I cannot touch. I cannot invite younger ones because they had their own program. So we were working out all this stuff pretty well, and I moved here in Austin, and right now I left kind of everything there. So it's been functioning probably for last 6 months. After 6 months, I left, and then after that, I couldn't go there and supervise it, so I kind of let it go. So right now, all I do is private lessons and working full-time job for Austin Juniors as a director.
Very cool. And the handle on Instagram is just volleyball advice, correct?
Say it again, please. Sorry.
The handle on Instagram so people can follow you.
Yeah, volleyball.advice.
Very
That's me.
good.
Or you can type my name. I think my name is also pops up at
All
the
right,
first.
Andrii Diachkov. If you guys are looking for good volleyball advice, it's actually I like your page. It's actually very informative, so that's pretty cool. But I want you, if you will, to send a message to the volleyball community and the young coaches in Ukraine to what's next. How do you see this going forward? What do you think is going to happen, and what do you wish for them to happen?
For the young ones that wants to be a coach, there is always opportunity. You just need to try to do it, try to go for it, and don't stop, never give up. I feel like giving up is the last thing you can do, and giving up is doesn't cost anything. It's so easy for me. It's so easy to give up, but it's not challenging at all. It's not satisfying. It's not rewarding. I feel like, and my mentality is like, I'd better try than I will regret that I did not try. So I always try, and I wish you guys trying without any stop. And you're gonna have some hurdles in your life, but like never give up.
Very good. Um, I ask this every coach, but I would love if you can share one of your favorite on-court drills for volleyball.
This is the one that I think I created myself,
Cool.
and I call it all skill. I'm really terrible in names, calling names. I know the Americans would like to have a name for certain drills, even though same drill in different gyms had different names. But there's some famous one, but that's the one that. So my philosophy also is have less lines possible during the practice. Like if I have 12 kids, I want 12 kids to do something without standing in line and waiting until one coach toss the ball to one player and then go and wait to the next rep. So this drill, I don't know, can I explain it somehow, or like we need to draw it? Like
You
it's
have a
because
whiteboard, you can show it.
I don't have a whiteboard. Do you have a
Yeah, go
whiteboard?
ahead, explain.
All right, so it's on one side of the court we have outsides, libero, middle back, another outside, right back, right side, front row, center front row. Left back, outside is a front row. So we start like this. It's a progression drill. We start like this. That's the first. So the rest of the players are on the serving line. Serve. You alternate serve with the free ball. White call all skill because we do pretty much everything. And probably ask where the block. We're gonna add in block later. So serve, pass, side out, free ball. You can, as a coach, you can name who is doing what and how. Free ball can go only to the middle blocker, or if the pass is good, middle blocker can attack too. Like this, you keep them all busy without knowing, like, because for the kids, how if I'm not hitting, I'm looking at the ceiling, you know. So I want them to be always engaged and be ready to go for every situation. Then with the free ball, you can alternate down ball. That's another, another flexible thing that you can do. If you have serving machine, if the serve is float, you go top spin right away. So serving machine, by the way, it's a blessing from the God.
It's nice, yes.
I I try to have in every gym I work. I try to have serving machine, even though I know most of the coaches in the United States don't like it because the explanation that I hear is like you don't see the arm, you don't feel the timing. But my arguments is every single professional team in Europe has serving machine for a reason. They produce so many touches that you with your arm will never be able to do it. So then you can obviously you alternate them however you want by the time, by the rep. It's very, very flexible. It depends what you have. Two liberos, you switch them. Two setters, you switch them. Outsides, right sides, mix them up. Then you add the blockers. So now we work hitting versus block. Same servers, same routine. You can go with this drill, dude. I don't know, 45 minutes, 30, 45 minutes, something like that, easily. And mixing them up, by the end of this drill, if you have 12 people, you are playing 6-on-6 with the one side serving, another is receiving. So this is how you start with a little progression and slowly give them a water break every 10 minutes or so, and just keep them engaging, give a feedback. It's very good drill to give a feedback to the player. You can pull somebody and the drill is still gonna keep going. You take somebody to talk to, and setter is not setting him, right? It's just, or her. So I'm talking him because I used to deal with the boys,
Yeah.
but in girl side, when I coach girl side, I had the same drill, and all of my players were like, yay, all skill, and they know what to do. You explain them once, You call all skilled, they know what to do. They pick the spot. Also, you can see as a coach who is actually running to the spot instead of like wandering around, who is going, me, you. That's another information as a coach to have for the player who can fix the problems when the problems occurs on the court, right? So the one who's running, the one who is like, hey, that's my spot.
Very good.
So that's another analytic situation that you can have as a coach.
Awesome. Very good, man. All right. So right before we finish, I would like to have a speed round of questions with you. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and you can answer in a word or two. That sounds
Word
good?
of two words.
One, two, or even if you want a short explanation if needed.
Oh
But
my God, I'm gonna mess up right now. Liran, I'm gonna mess up. Okay.
no wrong answers, or should I say wrong answers only?
All
All right.
right, let's try.
What's the biggest myth internationals have about American volleyball?
That Americans, why, dude, I don't know. There's no myth.
We'll go back to this. Hardest league you ever played in?
Italy,
Country with the most passionate fans?
Greece,
Greece, indeed. One thing European volleyball does better than the US volleyball?
compete,
Compete?
maybe.
Interesting. Win. Favorite movie or documentary?
Say Private Ryan.
I love it. What is the hardest English word to pronounce?
Responsibilities, I guess.
Are you early morning practice or late night practice?
Late nights,
What skill do young players underestimate the most?
blocking,
What frustrates you the most as a coach?
lack of motivation,
Very good. If volleyball didn't exist, what sport would you have played?
soccer.
Nice. It's funny. I have something to say about this. One of my players at Metro looked at me and said, Liran, what sport would you have played if you were athletic? I was like, all right, touche. That's a good one.
Thank you. Thank you, Zach. You got roasted.
I know. Couple more. The proudest moment of your volleyball career.
Oh my God. Ukrainian championship.
Very good. Representing the US or Ukraine as a coach if you had the chance?
Ukraine.
And if you weren't a volleyball coach, what would you be doing?
I don't run a business, some sort of business. I don't know, something. Run a business.
Businessman. That's very good. Well, Andre, actually, I have one more question
Okay.
about you. You know, you mentioned a couple years ago you don't want to do collegiate. You kind of like where you
Yeah.
are. But what's next for you? I feel like I don't want to say wasted. God forbid. I don't want to take away from developing, club players, but I feel like you
Yeah.
can have more impact in the higher levels of the game. So I was wondering what's next for you? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh boy. Um, I would like to get into the well, I consider myself already in the USA volleyball pipe. Um, I would like to get involved somehow with the any national team, if that's possible. Obviously, I'm gonna do anything what I can to achieve that goal. And but again, Niran, if you ask me one more time today if I'm into the college volleyball, I don't think I'm ready. I don't think I'm willing to. The other part of it is my family. Like I'm very attached to my family. My kids needs me right now while they are little. And I know that being a college coach is a lot of travels. It's a lot of recruiting. It's a lot of office overtime and this and that. And it's happening. And I know that.
Yeah.
So I'm not ready to sacrifice this part just yet. I want them to grow up and be kind of more independent. And then maybe I'll think about the college volleyball. While I'm doing that, I'm still learning and I'm still getting better as a coach. Try to pick up every brain as possible around me. So that's gonna be I think, the most honest answer. I don't see myself 5 years from now being in college, but you never say never. So
Yeah, well, the right opportunity and the right time, I guess. And
yep.
I wish you luck with getting into the Olympic national teams, either in the women's or the men's side, whatever you feel right. I think you well deserved, and you're a good match. I think you can do that.
Thank you.
I think you're a great coach, and I see the trajectory of your career. You're very humble, and you say what you say over the phone. You don't get to great places by being humble all the time, but I think you are. I think you're doing a quiet job, and you're doing it well. And the fact that you believe in hard work and dedication and being consistent, and that's really the key for everything in sports, specifically for being an athlete. As you mentioned in the beginning, it's not like one and done. It's a progression of hard work and consistency for years. So I think that the fact that you're doing it also with coaching, that will push you hopefully wherever you want eventually. And I wish you nothing but success. And I wanted to ask you, have anything to add?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for what you're doing, Liran. I feel like it's important to deliver some messages uh, to the community because not many players or parents um, necessarily knowing that there's a stuff out there that they can learn from and get educated. So I feel like by doing this, uh, it's if whoever gonna see it, my followers, your followers, I feel like that's gonna be a good experience and good knowledge for them. So thank you. What are you doing? I wish you all the best too. I feel like this needs to be done at some point or by somehow someone it needs to be done. And I'm glad that it's you because I feel like you're a great match to talk to people. You're a great guy. I like you.
Thank
So
you. Wow, that's a compliment for me. That's I'll take that for life. Thank you, Andre. I appreciate your time. And soon enough it will be up in the air. So thank you so much for everything you're doing and for being on my podcast.
thank you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of International Coaches Club. Today was Andrii Diachkov, an amazing person, a great friend who I've met in the national team development program, and he's going back one time after the other because he's one of the really best coaches in the US, and he's a master of his craft. After a professional, amazing career, he's now going to develop his coaching career, and I wish him nothing but success. I loved that he said, he was one of the coaches that inspired me to do this, and he kept saying, work hard work and dedication when everybody's not looking, when it's you against yourself. That's what will take you to wherever you would like. So the only hurdle in your way is yourself. And this is a message that I hope the listeners will hear and understand and believe in yourself, because nothing can stop you if you really put the work in. You also said communication is key, which is something that most of the coaches are repeating, but it's essential. He's a very loyal person. He loves his home country, um, and also, other than that, and the communication and the hard work, he's very flexible as a coach. He always adapts new things and open to new ideas, and this is something that we all must remember as coaches. The moment you stop learning, you stop coaching. You always need to be flexible and adapt to new situations, adapt to new generations, adapt to new countries, even because we international coaches, we come to the US with an expectation and sets of ideas, and then everything shatters because we think we know best. But then you come here and you have to adapt really fast if you want to succeed in this world of American sports, whatever sport that is. You always need to adapt to a new scene. And of course, I love the fact that he's a family man. Um, sometimes coaches neglect that part of their lives because they're so dedicated and focused, but he's showing that you can balance the two of them. And I really, really appreciate that. And I definitely going to take some notes and apply that in my personal life. So I hope you enjoyed this great episode. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Follow us on Instagram and on Spotify and on YouTube. Make sure you listen to the next episode because it's going to get more and more interesting. Thank you very much for listening, and see you next time. Bye.